Hey everybody, how are you doing this Sunday night? It is 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, and we are back for another live over here. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that notification bell, hit the like button to make sure we can kind of push this conversation through the algorithm. I appreciate everybody for being here. I don't know if this stuff is too loud, so hopefully you can hear me. I appreciate everybody for jumping on here, being a part of the conversation. Again, the purpose of us doing live over here, I'm like my dad hair is going crazy. The purpose of us doing live over here is so we can create a community, talk about what's happening in the real estate market. If you are looking to possibly buy or sell in this real estate market, we can have conversations, in-depth conversation. You can ask questions. We can kind of see how everything's moving inside of this housing market. So today we are going to talk about you being able to buy a condo for $1,000. Yes, it is true. If you are in certain parts of Florida, you can actually buy houses under $20,000, preferably if they're more of condo houses, not separate entities, but condo houses. That is true. You can actually buy a house for $1,000. So we'll talk about this stuff in Florida and kind of unpeel what exactly is behind this $1,000 house, condo, I should say, as far as buying property. Why is it only $1,000 per se? Then we'll jump from there into a little bit about HOAs, and then we'll try to, before we jump off here, talk about foreign investors. If you guys don't know, foreign investors have come back and started buying in certain states around the United States of America. So we'll kind of break it down as far as how much they bought from 2024 to 2025, where they might be kind of buying as far as spaces, and we'll get into the conversation. So hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. I'm trying to see if you guys can hear me, just let me know if you can hear me or not. Again, if you are new to the channel, don't be shy, don't be scared to jump inside the live chat, have conversation, and let's jump into it. So again, we are going to first head over into this thing in regards to buying a property for $1,000. Is this true again? And like I stated, it is true that if you go here, if you see right here, I'll make it a little bit bigger so you guys can kind of see it. In Florida, you can purchase a property for $1,000. So there are condo units hitting the market for $1,000 in Florida. Hey, what's going on, Dad? There are condo markets hitting, condos in Florida that are going for $1,000. We'll show you some other ones as well. So that's $1,000 one, $1,000 one. We're going to move over so you can see some more other ones. So as you guys can see on the screen, you see $10,000 for a condo. I don't know if hopefully you can see it. I don't know if you can see it. $10,000. Yeah, I can see it. So let me know if you can see it or not. I can see it on my end, but I don't know if you guys can see it. $10,000, $1,000, $1,500, $19,900. So these are all condos in Boynton Beach, Florida, $10,000. And then you have homes for sale that are more like they look like possibly manufactured homes. Well, not possibly, they are from these pictures, manufactured homes. So like $15,000 home for sales. So if you guys don't know, we all know that Florida's housing market is kind of seeing a shift right now, right? They're seeing a shift in regards to people trying to either sell their homes, whether it be a single family homes, townhouses, condos. And because of that, a lot of people are selling drastically below what they bought it for. Hey, what's going on, Jaron? Say hello, Devon, everyone watching. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, what's going on, David? How you doing this Sunday? We are just talking about that you can see what happened. Okay, well, this is what happens with StreamYard sometimes, you guys. Am I back on your end? Can you see me? Let me know. Also, can you hear me? Let me know. But yeah, so you can buy condos right now in Florida for $1,000. But we're going to dig deeper into this because we're going to see, well, why exactly is it $1,000 and how much did this person pay for their property? So I don't have access really to the Florida MLS, but what we'll do is we'll go down Zillow, because typically Zillow will tell you the property history of what somebody bought it for, how much it costs, and things like that. Let me make sure my internet is coming in good, because for some reason on my end, it keeps taking me out. It says I got good internet, so I don't know what's going on. What's going on, Croy? Okay, here we go. My screen is squeezing. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Croy, what's going on? Clark, good to see you. I'm from Florida, very familiar with Palm Beach County. Okay, so being from Florida, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you might be hearing how things are shifting down there, how things are kind of changing, how the housing market, it's kind of creating a sense of property values tanking, I should say. And I don't want to say in a massive situation in regards to not buying in Florida, but I'm saying just be very knowledgeable if you decide to purchase in Florida right now, understanding what is happening and how to make sure you score the proper deal in regards to protecting your real estate and things like that. So David said, "What for every gimme there is a gotcha." What is the catch? Yes, so we are going to get into the catch right now, because there's a gentleman on TikTok, because again, I don't have access to the MLS in Florida, but he has access to the MLS. And I was actually trying to find his whole video, but I couldn't. So I screenshotted some of the information he pulled out. And the gotcha is about to be gotcha. So if you guys know, this property has been, as you can see here on Zillow, been on the market for 94 days. There's over 2,000 reviews, 65 saves, right? This particular person they bought it and originally sold in 1995 for $100,000. They bought it, sold it in 2002, sorry, for $91,000, and now it's listed for $1,000. So now, if we scroll up here to the first gotcha is the HOA, and that's why we're going to dive into HOAs as well. Hold on, where is it at? Oh, don't tell me they didn't move it around. Okay, right. So the HOA. Right here, it says there's the HOA. It says services include all these things: cable, TV, common areas, insurance, building maintenance, grounds maintenance, structure manager, pest control, roof maintenance, security. The HOA fee is $1,503 a month. $1,503 a month. There, the application fee is $150. The membership fee is $126,000. So you have to, let's go up to what it states over here. And this is the gotcha. Let's read what it states in the listing. It says this first floor condo is just waiting for someone to come and make it their own, with a serene golf course views and a screened in, was it Lene? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Y'all can correct me. You'll enjoy the best of indoor, outdoor living in a peaceful setting. And so we'll scroll down here. It says the owners are motivated in pricing it to sell. Of course they're motivated. It says Hunters Run, which is what they're located in, is a mandatory buy-in and yearly membership, amenities-filled community. So get it, it's a yearly membership. And so their yearly membership, in order for you to buy into their membership, as we saw at HOA, when we go back down, is $126,000. David said, wow, yes. So as sweet as this deal is, as far as being able to own a condo for $1,000 in Florida, $1,000 is possible. However, the gotcha is that it's not $1,000. It might be $1,000 to purchase it, but after paying all the fees, you realize that it's not $1,000. And so this gentleman, he also found extra breakdown, and I'll show you guys. He found an extra breakdown of the yearly expenses, but this was 2024 expenses. So these are not updated. So outside of that membership fee per se, just be mindful that it's going to change with this. But this is what he found. So the thing is called Hunters Club, Country Club. And it says right here, all sales are subjected to $1,000 administration fee. So it looks like there's also an administration fee. And again, these numbers might have changed because this is from the financials of 2022 and 2023. This is what the gentleman found on TikTok, and he shared it. And so we know that the membership fee is completely different. So this is the membership fee right here. That's $126,000. So in 2022, 2023, it was $85,000. It says non-refundable initiation fee, $85,000. And it's talking about right here, it's that there's a social, well, actually, maybe if you add all this up, this actually might make the 84. No, I think maybe that might make $126,000. It might be more or less. There's a social membership fee that you have to buy into of $15,419. A racket sports and social membership is $17,000. So it's different tiers, I should say. So you can just do social membership, the racket sports one. You can do the golf, racket sports, social membership. So these are different memberships you would have to buy into, it seems like. You can go $15,000, $17,000, $18,000. It says your annual food and beverage gratuity, family $811, single $618. Annual food minimum spending is $1,400, $16,005 for single, $1,400 for family. Annual employee holiday fund $56. Annual trail fee optional, so you don't have to pay it. It's optional, but you can pay it if you want to. Annual cart rental optional, you don't have to pay it, but if you want to, $3,000 to $2,800. Annual bag storage optional, $155 per member, and then also annual locker rental optional at $134 per member. So, yes, you get the opportunity of being able to buy a condo for $1,000, but like David said, what for every gimme there is a gotcha. What is the catch? And that is the catch, that you have to pay that mandatory annual fee of $100, according to Zillow, $126,000 a year. So I don't know if that has to be coming cash. Can you finance it? I don't know, but you can own a condo for $1,000. David said, "I think I would rather rent. No thanks." Exactly, because honestly, it seems like a sweet deal from the outside. It seems like it takes a ton of money to be rich. And it seems like, you're like, oh, wow, I can get a condo, a property, in the sense of what's happening now. We all know people are looking for affordability, right? And it's almost like let me get your hopes up as somebody looking for affordability, looking for something, because as we all know, people are like, will I ever be able to own a property? Will I ever be able to own a home at the way the costs are going nowadays? And so it makes people believe a sense of hope, this feeling like, wow, this is $1,000, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. I don't need but much to survive. I don't need but much to kind of start off my, my first entry into home ownership. So I would love to, relocate. Maybe if you're in Florida, you're relocating, you're like, this is a win. If I'm a remote from home, even if I have a local job in Florida that's feasible as far as what they may pay me, I can still afford $1,000 for a condo, right? So that's the get you gotcha. It's like, okay, yeah, but once you start breaking down how much it is outside of it, you're like, who can afford $126,000 a year for a membership fee? This is the annual fee every year, $126,000. So I don't know if it's finance. I don't know if they could break you down on monthly payments, maybe daily payments. I don't know how much. Let's see if I did the calculator. If we did the calculator of $126,000, and don't mind me, I'm looking down my calculator. Let's see how much it might cost daily for you to be able to qualify to pay this annual initiation fee. So 126, and there's 365 days in a year. So you would have to pay 126, divided by 365 days in a year. You would have to pay $345.21 every day to get your 126 annual membership fee. Or if you want to break it down monthly, 126 divided by 12 months, you have to pay $10,500 a month. So yeah, so that is the get you gotcha. And it sucks because you're playing on people's heartstring in this economy, this state of housing. Corey West said, Clark, did I hear that a Florida congressman wants to draft legislation that will do away with HOA? Yes, so that's what I was going to kind of lean into after talking about this situation, as far as the congressman, the lawmaker, trying to abolish and get rid of this HOAs in Florida. It would be, there's always a catch-22 to everything, right? Of course, I'm not a fan of HOAs, but some people are because they feel like HOAs help to upkeep the neighborhood, the properties, and allows for your maybe able to sustain property value, right? However, um, you also have city ordinances that'll make you do stuff too, or they'll find you. Just like your HOA, they'll find you in the community. And it's almost like they're getting, I know that the developers, when they go to build these places with these HOAs, right, they're getting they're talking to the city or the county per se, how they're going to handle stuff, how they're going to, put in line the HOAs for the development, for the properties, so those HOAs will be able to, quote unquote, maintain the grounds, the sidewalks, the streets, different things like that, so the city doesn't have to per se come and do those things. But I think we have to take back control and not allow other entities to take control. And that's all around. That's not even just HOAs. That's even on political stature, on so many things. Is it MHOA said, on the road again, back later to catch up extra day this week for groceries. All right, well, be safe on that road. You're always on the road. Be safe and make sure you get your groceries and everything done. So we're gonna make sure that you are safe on those roads. David said, if they ban HOA, it will change to a mandatory membership fee. Yeah, and that's another thing too, right, David? So it's like if you ban HOA, and what sense would it something overtake it? Because that's the thing about getting rid of certain things, and then they want certain things in place. So it's like, I don't know. It's just very interesting to see what can possibly happen. Of course, we know, HOAs growing up in the sense of this. I never lived in an HOA community. Of course, I've had friends, relatives, colleagues live in HOA. Neighborhoods that I grew up in, as far as where the house was at, they never had HOA. They were just common neighborhoods. Everybody in the neighborhood and their houses kept up. They always cut their grass. It might have not. The only time it might have gotten high as far as grass is if, say, the person no longer lived there no more. They're and they passed away per se, I should say. And that's when it kind of got overtaken. So we know that it's sustainable to live in an environment or a neighborhood without an HOA. And there are a lot of communities that don't have HOAs. So it's definitely sustainable, but I just wonder what would be the offset with some of these communities that were already kind of put in place with HOAs. How would they offset it if they ban it? So it'll be interesting. Mandatory membership sounds very unconstitutional to me, just saying. Yes, everything is, I don't know. I'm not, of course, I think me and David talked about this before. I'm not a fan of the HOA. I'm just not a fan of the HOA. So I'm all for banning it, honestly. But and it's also because, like I said, everybody comes from different situations. Like I said, I grew up in a house in the neighborhoods where, from my mom's house, from her town, her row home, as we call them up north, to my grandmom's house, a single family house on 2 lots. We didn't have HOAs. We just didn't have HOAs. So I've never been subjected to that. Yes, Adam. Adam said the house for $1,000. So it's not a house, it's a condo. It's $1,000, but there is a gotcha, Adam, in regards to this $1,000 that we kind of stated earlier. So the gotcha is that you have to pay the HOA and the mandatory membership fee. Your HOA, your monthly HOA is $1,503 monthly. You have to pay your application fee of $150, and then your mandatory membership fee is $126. So $126, and I think that's the annual fee, but it might be a one-time upfront membership fee of $126. I don't know the direct clarity of it all, because again, I'm not in the Florida real estate market. I'm going off of what's on the Zillow report, and then also with a young man that was from the Florida market, he pulled up on his as he pulled more documents from the MLS, and he put it on the on TikTok. So he kind of broke it down to different fees and everything. So yes, you can own a condo for $1,000, but the gotcha is that your HOA is a monthly fee every year. So in total, your HOA would be $1,500. That's times 1,500 times 12. That's just 1,500 times 12. It would be $18,000 plus something a year, because I just did it by 1,500 times 12, $3. So it might only be a one-time membership fee of $126, possibly an application fee of $150. However, your HOA will be every year, and if it increases, if you get any special assessments, it could go up, it could go down. But yes, but you can own a condo, 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Boynton Beach, Florida, for $1,000. So definitely can, Adam. Darren said it would be nice to do away with HOA. Yes, I'm not a fan of them, but I know some people are. Definitely would love. But do they help keep the neighborhoods in order without having to worry? So think about it. It just depends on HOA, because you have some HOA management companies, I should say, especially in Georgia as well. Some of them just fill their pockets with money. Some of them charge excessive fees. There's been numerous reports on the television, on the news, and it's not in every HOA neighborhood. It's not every person per se either, right? But you have some that just do ridiculous fees. They contest everything. They hit you with extra fees just because they just want to play like they're God per se, or they have the power to do things like the crazy president of America right now. So yeah, you know, they are supposed to be in place to kind of help facilitate the neighborhood in regards to maintaining the grounds per se. If you have a pool in your community, to make sure that the pool cleaners are coming, they're doing stuff accordingly, you know, filling stuff, the chlorine and all that thing up with the water, any type of clubhouse upkeep, if you have tennis courts, any type of things in the neighborhood. So they're good in the sense of trying to maintain that. But when people step out of bounds and go above doing what they're supposed to place for, it gets out of hand, and then it becomes a thing of people wanting to abolish or get rid of an HOA, because it's like, if I can maintain this on my own, and if I'm in a neighborhood that does not have these amenities and it's just a regular neighborhood, I don't need an HOA to maintain this. I don't need you to tell me, you know, to cut my grass. I don't need you to tell me to close my garage door, because I've seen HOAs fine people because they said all garage doors need to be closed. I've read, you know, bylaws or covenants, I should say, in regard, not bylaws, covenants in regards to saying that you can't keep out anything, no kids' toys outside on the grass in the front yard, different things like that. So when they're starting to create strict rules and stuff around it, I think that's when people start to push back, and then of course get hit with special assessments out of nowhere, where you're like, well, if I'm paying this on a monthly fee, why are these special assessments coming up? But then you also do have people that live in HOAs that stop paying their monthly HOA fee or dues or fees, however you say it. So it becomes very complicated. David said, pretty soon homeless encampments will have HOA dues. It's only a matter of time. Yes, it's just everything, David, everything. It's just a matter of time, the way things are going in this country. And again, we want people to have home ownership. You know, you want people to be able to live this American dream that was promised to younger generations, to future generations, to current generations. And it's just like, it's going to be obtainable. Jaron said 1503 monthly. Yes, 1503 monthly, $18,000 a year, Jaron. So yeah, so you can definitely get a condo for $1,000, you guys. But that is what you are going to be looking at in regards to that. And like I said, we can go back to the search, and we can see that in the same condo area, you have one that's going for $10,000. You have one going for $1,500. It's in the same development, $19,000. So this one right here, excuse me, that's at the $1,000 mark. They were just like, take it to the low, because that's going to get people looking like, wow, this is, can I get this? And like I said, you have a manufactured home for $15,000. So if you're okay with buying a manufactured home, so yeah, if you look around in the market, understand what's going on, if it's affordable to you, if it's feasible to you, if you feel like it's a good deal for you, then, you know, take the shot, take the swing, batter up, and see what happens. Again, my opinion is different from everybody else's opinion. The way in which I, want to live my life is different from other people's living their lives. So I'm just giving you guys, my opinion. It's not cemented in stone. You definitely can, make sure you put yourself in the best position or best place to make sense for you going through the next years, the next decade, the next everything in regards to your life, right? Corey West said, I wanted to buy a condo or a townhouse, but HOA was frightening. HOA made my cousin take down his curtains and put up cheap blinds. Yeah, the HOAs, like I said, a lot of them are creating this dictatorship, really, and they're not governing what they're supposed to govern. Like when you start reading these covenants and you see some of these things inside these covenants, you're like, what are y'all doing? Like I get that there are like you have your architecture part of the some people that sit on architecture board and some of these HOAs where it's like, okay, we want stuff to say cohesively aligned as such in these communities, which I can get. Like you don't want people to come in and just start knocking down houses, building all these other houses that don't align with what the community is, the neighborhood, what it was supposed to be created as such. But when you start coming in to do stuff like taking curtains down for cheap blinds and telling people that they need to have their garage door shut, you can't have it open because as we're driving through the neighborhood, it's a sight to see. And I'm like, but I have my garage door open just for the day. I close it at night because most people don't leave their garage door open all day because then people can come in their garage, maybe take some things, maybe an animal can come in. So most people don't do that. So these people were getting fined just for having their garage door open in the daytime because their child was outside riding a bike and they just was sitting in the chair in the driveway watching the child ride the bike. So yeah. But yeah, so you could definitely get a condo in Florida, Boynton Beach, Florida for $1,000. We're going to go into what Troy was saying in regards to the governor, one of the politicians wanting to abolish HOAs. So yeah, let me guys. So if you guys want to let me know your thoughts on HOAs, like I said, everybody's thought is different. We're here to have a conversation around real estate. I appreciate everybody joining me on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Let me know your thoughts, and then also if you are in the market to want to buy or sell, let me know if you had. What are your concerns? What are your frustrations? What are you seeing in the communities that you're in the neighborhoods you're looking in, the states that you're in? Let me know. So it says Florida lawmaker wants to abolish HOAs. Could the failed experiment really end? So it says across the country, frustration with home associations is bubbling over, but in Florida, it's reaching a boiling point. Steep fees, strict rules, and heavy-handed enforcement have left many residents feeling trapped in neighborhoods they no longer control. It says the consequences can be extreme. Earlier this year, Irina Green, a homeowner in Hillsborough County, Florida, spent a week in jail after failing to bring her lawn up to par. And Shaunia, I'm listening, that's how you say it, I'm not sure, Cruz Munez, who lives in the same neighborhood as Green, faced foreclosure after a lawsuit over the exterior color of her home. And I believe I saw both of these, actually, I saw videos of both of these people in regards to this situation happening in Florida. It says stories like these have become symbols of what critics call HOA overreach, and now a South Florida lawmaker says it's time to end the system entirely. So State Rep Juan Carlos Perez, I don't know what I'm saying, in Miami, it looks like a Republican in Miami, has proposed abolishing HOAs in Florida outright, calling them a failed experiment. So the reason why we jumped over to these HOAs is because we were talking about the $1,000 condo, and a $1,000 condo is great to buy, but it comes with the HOA monthly fees and what they're doing, and they're requiring you guys to do. It says successful, this plan would fundamentally reshape daily life for nearly 9.5 million Floridians who currently live under HOA governments. Why Florida became Atlantic HOAs. Homeowner associations are popular not just in Sunshine State, they are also blooming nationwide. In 2024, more than 40% of listings came with an HOA fee, up 39% from the year before. According to a recent report from Realtor.com, and across the country, about 374,000 community associations govern everything from suburban subdivisions to high-rise condos, a 3,600% jump from just 10,000 associations in 1970. Data from the Foundation for Community Association Research shows Florida stands near the top of the list, second only to California in total HOAs, largely because of the boom of new construction in the state. New homes are far more likely than older properties to be built with HOA governed communities. In recent decades, developers have leaned heavily on the model. HOAs help them market neighborhoods as well kept, well kept, amenity rich, while also shifting the cost of services like landscaping and road maintenance away from local governments. Because Florida has been one of the fastest growing states for new housing, the trends have only accelerated in 2024 alone. Florida counted nearly 12% of all new construction permits nationwide, according to Realtor.com. Affordability report cards, it says, with those new subdivisions has come an ever expanding network of associations. Today, the state is home to more than 50,000 HOAs. There are 50,000 HOAs in Florida. I don't know if you guys can even see this. I'm reading. I don't know if you guys see what I'm reading. There are 50,000 HOAs in Florida, which is crazy. That is crazy. It says right here, but it says from promise to problem, the backlash grows. But what began as a way to keep neighborhoods tidy and hold property value steady, which was the intention of the HOAs, really, right? We wanted to keep, like I said earlier, we wanted to keep the neighborhoods tidy. We wanted to make sure it held property value, because if you did live in those subdivisions or things like that, maybe homeowners might have been parking there. The grass might have overgrown. Maybe they might have parked their cars or trucks in the driveways or on the grass. Maybe the house property is deteriorating. So it was a promise to try to make sure that the neighborhood stayed steady as far as making the homes appeal, structurally maintained, I should say, from the outside. So making sure it's not dilapidating, falling apart, making sure you maintain your grass, making sure all those things. But it's turned into now, and not, like I said, it's not every HOA, but it's turned into now almost like a money grab and a ploy to kind of create a dictatorship over certain communities. There's no reason why people should be getting fined thousands of dollars and going to jail, or because they don't want to paint the color of their house or they painted a different color. But yeah, so if you guys are just joining us now, we just dived into the condos in Florida that are going for $1,000. We'll head back over there in a minute, but kind of we're on this HOA situation because the HOA is what is the gotcha with the $1,000 property. So if you just joined us now and you want to see the $1,000 property, just say $1,000 in the live chat, and we'll go back to it once I finish this article here. But we're kind of talking about HOAs because that property comes with a $1,500 a month HOA. My dad said in New Jersey, at one time, the county health department was responsible for making people keep up their property, and no HOA was needed. Yep, I remember you told me that. So again, you have city ordinances, things like that. Like I know in county ordinances, different things where if your grass is too high, they make you cut it. If the property is dilapidating or whatever, they do come by. They'll put notices on the door. They'll say, hey, hazardous situation, things like that. So there are still some, I guess, I won't say laws, but there are still some things happening outside of the HOA that's to kind of maintain the community. Yes, I know some people might have came over here to see $1,000 property. We did it earlier, but again, if you want to see it, we'll go back to it after we finish this article. Just put 1,000 in the comments, and we will we'll swing back around. So if you're interested in that property, you can always go and I can show you it, and then you can go down and you could possibly check it out if it makes sense to you. But there is a $1,500 a month HOA. It says, for many turned into a financial or even legal headache, the national medium HOA fee is $143 per month, according to a research from Realtor.com, but costs can range much higher. It says in Edwards, Colorado, for example, the median monthly HOA due comes in at a whopping $525 a month. In Florida, condo owners have been hit especially hard with rising HOA fees, in large part because of assessments triggered. And this is what I was saying too, as far as those special assessments. And a lot of this came from like the seaside, the surf side, sorry, those condos, the reforms, everything going on by reforms in response to 2021 collapse of the Champlain Tower South condo. It says those rising bills prompted Governor Ron DeSantis to sign legislation this year that increases transparency in fees and provides some relief for condo owners, but it didn't address single-family HOAs. He said high fees are also just a part of the problem. Stories like Greens and Cruz Mundez underline the other thorn in the side of homeowners in these communities. Extreme or over enforced of the community bylaws in the response to their stories. One viewer went so far to tell Tampa, I'm like, so this is, I saw her on Tampa Bay 28. If you type it on YouTube, you can type this in and you can see the homeowner comment talk in depth about the situation with the HOAs. Say, I'd rather live under a bridge than under an HOA. It says, and while many HOA residents say they love landscape and maintenance and community amenity perks, more than 75% say they don't like living under one, according to the National Association of Realtors. Inside the push to ban HOAs in Florida, and so this is the lawmaker in Miami, says the growing backlash has caught the attention of lawmakers, including, I'm going to say it again, I might be saying it wrong, Peraz, I don't know if I'm saying that right, his last name, right? But who became the loudest voice in Florida calling for a radical reset. In a recent interview with Tampa Bay 28, he described HOAs as a failed experiment, arguing that they morphed from neighborhood caretakers into overreaching authorities. That's why he's proposing to abolish them altogether. But the details of how that will work remain fuzzy. Peraz has yet to introduce a bill, and he's working through some of the logistical challenges of crafting a law that could speak to the wide array of HOA governed properties. So it goes into more depth in regards to this article. I don't want to, I don't know if you guys want to hear me sit here and read this whole article, but it's not too long away. But basically, in the sense of the HOAs, yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how these HOAs have come in. They've become a source of blocking some people from home ownership. At one time, people didn't mind living in HOAs because the ploy of them was to protect property value, was to make sure, again, that the neighborhood that you was in was tidy, like they said in the article, upkept accordingly, so you can maintain that property value. As let me exit off the screen. So I'll put this $1,000 back up on here because people might be like, oh, did Devon lure me in here? A clickbait title. No, I didn't, but I just knew how we could kind of transition through the different topics in regards to this $1,000 property. So it wasn't clickbait. I wasn't luring you in here to into the live. I was trying to make sure. I wanted to make sure, that we gotta see this real quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry, guys. 1 second, sorry. Okay, sorry. So so it wasn't about I want people to see that there is $1,000 condo unit you can buy, but the HOA might keep you out of said purchase. They said that is true statement, overreaching authority. Yes, they are definitely overreaching in the sense of going beyond what they were put in place to do. The purpose of them as HOAs, management boards, however you guys might do, because some down here in Georgia, we have some communities that are managed by an HOA management company. And then we have some communities that are just governed by the community members. And so the purpose of governing the community is to keep stuff accordingly within the community. It's not to overreach as an authoritarian figure per se and start putting things in place of what people need to do to their house or what people need to take up or what people cannot do. So to be able, like Corey West said, for his friend to take down his curtains and put up cheap blinds, why does that matter in regards to me owning a house and you as a HOA, as a board member? Why are you in my house telling me what type of blinds to put up? And then in turn, if I don't do as you say, you send me out fines. So that's the only thing about HOAs that kind of gets on my nerves. I think my dad's talking to David. He said, "Hey, David, you might be able to buy a farmhouse cheap because farmers are losing their farms in Nebraska." So I don't know. You guys said that in the comments. I don't know. But yeah, so you definitely can go to Boynton Beach, Florida, right now, and different parts of Florida, and buy a condo for $1,000. Let's also type in again. I'm not in Florida, so if you need a referral to Florida, you can always reach out. But I'm not in Florida, so everything that I pull up as of right now would have to be via Zillow, Redfin, all those type of websites because I don't have access to the MLS in Florida. So let's kind of peruse on Florida some more, and let's see if we can find other properties under 1,000. So other things are popping up, but they're popping up at auctions. So we have an auction stuff going on. Auction things are going on down there. You can buy for sale by owner. You can buy some land for $13,000 in Florida. So we did under 20,000. Let's say under 15,000. So because I'm like, I always get people that'll reach out and they'll say, "Hey, do you know of anything available at this price?" And I'm like, I don't know. We can always peruse Zillow, Redfin, the internet. But also you gotta really look into the details because I think some people, like again, because the way in which the economy is going and the way in which the housing market is going, people that want to own said properties, they get caught up in seeing the numbers that they don't realize get into the actual information and start and really reading it through and really dissecting it that they think like, oh, I'm about to go out and buy $1,000 condo. So you have this house right here for auction. Let's see, for $5,000. We again typically with auctions, they don't allow you inside the house. So what we're seeing outside the house in pictures, this is in Neptune, Florida. Is auction. That auction bid look like it's established. They're going to establish it at $5,000. It says foreclosure auction ends September 9 at 11 p.m. at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Discover 3-bedroom, 2 single-family home in desirable Neptune Beach area. The list price is the opening bid for the online auction, sold as is with clear title. Explore more details. So yeah, so that's the thing I tell people when you do, if you're going to do an auction as well, just make sure you understand. If you want, definitely go on the backhand, pull the title, make sure it's as you can see as much information in regards to how clear the title is. Make sure there's no liens outside on the property, and just do your back stuff. Again, you can't get inside. Well, I know in Georgia, sorry, I don't know how it goes in Florida, but in Georgia, you can't get inside the property. If it's a foreclosure property, hold on, sorry, y'all. If it's a foreclosure property, they won't allow you inside the house in Florida. I mean, in Georgia, Jesus. In Georgia, they won't allow you inside, but you can go around to where the neighborhood is at. You can drive around to where the house is at. You can walk the house, per se, walk around the house, but they don't. They're like, the door's not open. You just can't come on in. There's not a key box on it for you to open the door. So every state is different. Again, I know a lot of people are trying to find ways to get home ownership. In our state of Georgia, if it's auctioned off as a foreclosure, you have to buy it cash at the courthouse steps, or buy it cash via auction.com, or buy it cash. You can't. There's not no payments plans down here. Some states they might have payment plans. I don't know, but in Georgia, you have to buy it cash. Clark, do a lot of Georgians own vacation property in Florida? You know what, David? I don't know. I don't know if they own a lot in Florida because our weather is it's not similar, but it's almost a sense of similar. So I don't know. I do know some Georgian people down here, people that are in Georgia, they always want to own property in like mountains. So I don't know if it's because of the weather pattern as far as being a little bit more, warmer, or they'll want to own property by a lake. So maybe they might go to Florida to the beaches and stuff. So I don't know, but I do know I'll get people that reach out and say, I want to buy a house in a mountain, a cabin, because we have mountains in Georgia. They might want to buy a mountain, a cabin in Georgia, or they might want to go and purchase on the lake, like Lake Oconee, Lake Spivey, things like that. Spivey, sorry. they might want to purchase in different lakes. One of our mystery lakes down here that most people don't care to purchase on is called Lake Lanier, because a lot of people, there's always a lot of deaths happening in that lake. Even though people still purchase on that lake, it's in Gwinnett County. They still purchase around that lake. People own, lake houses and everything, but there's always a lot of deaths happening on that lake. So a lot of people don't care to be on that lake, but to each his own. So yeah, so I don't know about the Florida part, David. Sorry I couldn't be more helpful with that one. But yeah, so you can definitely get some houses, looks like in Florida, whether it be auction, whether it be condos. They're around. This one right here is for sale by owner for $12,000 something, but this looks more of a manufactured home put on a brick. I don't know if that's like a brick crawl space, a brick found. It's not a slab per se. So it might be a crawl space, but look, this is only $12,900. I'm like, I don't live in Florida, y'all, so we just perusing the Florida on Zillow, just because it's very, you just play around and you see what's going on. And then when I found the $1,000 condo, I was like, wow, I was like, $1,000. Like, do I need to move to Florida? And then I started reading it. I was like, oh, I definitely had to talk about this. This is interesting. And then I just kept going, in Florida and seeing what's going on and just typing on a certain amount. But yeah, so it looks like you can, again, read the fine print, understand what you're buying. But it looks like you can go to Florida right now. You might be good to buy some property at a lower amount. I don't know if, let me see if this has an HOA. Show more HOA. So yeah, so here we go again. Look, monthly HOA, $1,060 a month. So that's what I'm noticing about these properties that are cheaper. The monthly HOAs are crazy. $1,060 a month. That's why they're only selling for $12,900. Let's go back to the other one that's auctioning for $5,000. Let's see. That's what their HOA is. So yeah, that's why we gotta dive into it and see what's going on. All right, so they don't look like they have an HOA because I don't see anything on here. Oh, right here, has no HOA. No HOA. So I don't know how I don't know how they go about their auctions in Florida, but I know auction.com, typically you can auction in person and online. I do know that because they do that down here in Georgia on our courthouse steps. We have like the courthouse steps. And I think if you guys go, you can see I have a video on my YouTube page that says auctions. I did the Fulton County auction. I think I just called it Atlanta auction, then the DeKalb County auction. And it'll show you how we kind of do it on our courthouse steps. You have it where you have your attorneys reading off said properties that are being foreclosed on. And then you have your auctioneer from auction.com reading off on as far as those properties as well. So, but they also, the difference between if it's in person, if it's on the county courthouse steps, you and the attorneys reading off, you cannot bid for those online. They're only in person. Auction.com, you can do it in person online. So if you're bidding on it in person, you can say 5,000, and then somebody online can say 10,000, and it can keep going up. I would hope people want to get what they can get, I guess. But I would hope people would like, okay, let's learn how to cut it off. Go in there, strategize, talk to the people, say, okay, what houses do you have on your list? What houses do I have on my list? Whoever's bidding online, okay, we're not going to go above this amount. We're going to try to get this house. If I can get this house at somewhere $50,000, I won't bid on the next house if that's what you want. And of course, like I say, you're dealing with people that are bidding online. So basically, you have a lot of conversations because I feel like we could possibly you might be able to get a deal on an auction house, depending on where you're at and how your auctions go. And like I said, again in Georgia, you gotta have the cash. But instead of overbidding on everything. David said, no worries, just curious. Croy said, it's mostly NY, Jersey, Connecticut, and Maine, and Palm Beach County and Treasure Coast area. Okay, so Croy was saying basically, did I say Croy or Croy? Sorry. Corey was saying there's a lot of people from up north, seems like down in Florida, which would make sense. A lot of northerners come down there to what they call them, the winter bird. Was it winter birds or birds or something? I forget. Snowbirds. That's what it's called. So yeah, but yeah, so you can get. Looks like you can get $1,000 property in Florida. Let's go back to Boynton. You can get $1,000 condos. You can get $5,000 auction properties. You can get $10,000. You can get $1,500. All right. So now we will jump over. So if you just joined us now, we were talking about. It is true. You can get $1,000 condo. Now let's jump over real quick before we get off this live stream. I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. We're going to talk about, which we were going to say on the last stream, but we didn't get to it. Foreign investors. So foreign investors, they were leaving and then they came back and they're back in into our U.S. economy buying. And they're buying properties. And a lot of them are buying, second homes, vacation homes per se. It says, despite long-standing affordability issues and growing uncertainty, foreign buyers have flocked back to the U.S. housing market over the last year, snapping up $56 billion worth of American homes between 2024 April and March 2025. New figures show it is the first time the international buyer demand has risen in 8 years, according to the National Association of Realtors, which shared figures in its newly released 2025 International Transaction Report. So let's go to the report real quick. And don't mind me, sorry guys. I feel like I don't want to rush through it, but I want us to get to this before we get off of here. Because I'm trying to keep myself to an hour. I feel like I always say, and then I end up going over. I want to try to keep myself to an hour. But I love being here talking with you guys, but I want to keep it to an hour so people don't get sick of hearing my voice. So it says 2025 highlights, $56 billion volume. Foreign buyers, which we kind of read earlier, said 2.5% of 2.2 trillion of the dollar volume of existing home sales. Says 78,100 number of foreign buyers existing home purchases during 2024 and 2025. Says 1.9% of 4.04 billion existing home sales. So technically, they bought a lot, but they didn't really buy as much when it comes to the sales in the U.S. housing market. But they are back there. They're back in, foreign investors are buying inside the housing market in 2025. I guess with them seeing like the softening, the dips, and things like that. So will they buy that $1,000 condo in Florida? Would they go to the auctions and buy $5,000 houses in Florida? You never know, because Florida is one of the areas in which they're buying a lot. It says foreign investors, 56% foreign buyers who reside in the United States, recent immigrants less than 2 years at the time of transaction, or non-immigrant visa holders type B. I Google what visa holder immigrant non-visa immigrant holders were type B, and I believe I'm trying to remember what it said. It said because I'm not in immigration law, so I don't know what that stands for, but I think it said something like that they buy. Hold on, let me type it in again. Non-immigrant visa type holder. Visa type B. It says non-immigrant B visa refers to the U.S. B1 and B2. So it says visitor visa allowing foreign citizens to enter the United States temporarily for business, B1, or tourism, B2, purposes of or a combination of both. So, and it says B1 for business for individuals attending business meetings, conferences, or engaging in short-term business activities that do not involve employment in the U.S. And then B2 is for tourism. So I was a little kind of confused with this whole B, the one that it said like B type B. So I don't know, because the way they read it, when I read it, it read as if they were only here short-term, temporarily, not for a long-term. But I guess, again, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know immigration law. I don't know what this all kind of pans out to outside of what I can Google. And because of that, I don't know in totality what non-immigrant visa holders type B entails. So do not hold it against me as a lawyer, you guys, because I'm just a realtor. Corey West said, no need to rush, although it can be stressful. I love learning about real estate. I appreciate you coming in, you being here, David being here, MH08, my dad, and everybody else that jumps on here and there. I appreciate you guys. coming on, being a part of this, engaging in conversation. I know some people sometimes will come in and they'll just watch and they don't want to say anything, or some people might just be watching on TV so they can't engage. So I appreciate the people that do come on, take the time out your night to talk real estate, because it's very interesting. It's a very interesting, and it's not just the selling, like how they sell on TV. It's not just the fix and flip, how they do that TV, the GT and everything. It's real intricate, and I think a lot of people nowadays put realtors in a place where they say like we're glorified door holders or door openers, I should say. And in reality, that's not the case. If you're dealing with most realtors, I'm not gonna say every realtor because I don't know how every realtor does their business, but in the sense of realtor that I know that they do a lot of work behind the scenes for people. And so it kind of sucks that in real estate, we get the end of the stick where they make it seem like every realtor is a bad realtor. But you got good people, got bad people. Top foreign buyers. So it says China, 15% of foreign buyers. They bought 13.7 billion. Top 2 is Canada, 14% of foreign buyers, 6.2 billion. 3 is Mexico, 8% of foreign buyers, 44.4 billion. India, 6% of foreign buyers, 2.2 billion. United Kingdom, 4% of foreign buyers, 2 billion. The top destinations were Florida, California, Texas, New York, Arizona. So I find it very interesting with these places being like the top. Like you have Florida, which is going through a housing market, softening on the extreme side. You have California was dipping a little bit. Texas again, Arizona. Like New York is the only one that's not experiencing it, according to what I'm seeing. It seems like they're kind of getting a little growth in some parts of New York State. But these other areas are areas that are softening or seeing a shift. And so a lot of foreign buyers are coming in and they're buying. They're like, oh yeah, we see what's going on, baby. We about to do something this American real estate. We're gonna own some property here. So it says 494,400 is a foreign buyer median purchase price, compared to 408,500 for all U.S. existing home sales. 47% foreign buyers who paid all cash. So some of these half of the foreign buyers that are buying in America are paying all cash offers. They're not financing anything. They're coming in cash offers. 40% buyers who purchase a property for use of vacation home, rental, or both. So some of those homes, like as we say, there has been a layout of there being 15 million homes. Is it 15 million? 15 million homes that are vacant in the United States of America. And vacant, and in the vacant sense, it can mean so many things. It can mean this. Foreign investors came and they purchased vacation homes. They purchased homes for rental purposes. Of course, you have some of that 15 million could be and tied up in probate. They call them what? Blight? Is it blight? Blight? I think it's blight type of home. I think that's what they call it. Where it's tied up in so much of the probate process. Some of them could be dilapidated homes. So yes, we have inventory of 15 million homes on the market, but every home might not be available in order for someone to live in because it like the red tape around it. But you do have these homes that these foreigners are buying. You can live in those. They're buying them up, but it's not in like a not in a big capacity, but they're buying homes for them to live in. 77% buyers who purchased a detached single-family home or townhome. So they're saying 70% of them were foreign buyers who they purchased single-family home or townhomes. I'm guessing the other 33% must have bought a condo. I don't know. That's how I'm kind of laying it out when I see the difference in percentage. 44% foreign buyers who purchased in a suburban area, similar to 45% among existing home buyers. So yes, so there's a if you guys don't know, there are this is an in-depth research report that the National Association of Realtors did in regards to foreign buyers, economics, the economic condition, and all those things. So you can definitely dive in more, read more of this. It's breaking down different purchase price per square meter, compare like these over international, then in the States. Chapter 2 is international buyers. It breaks it down even more right here in regards to the international buyers, number of existing home purchases by foreign buyers. So it tells you from 2012 all the way to 2025, non-resident A type, and then rather than B type. So it shows you what they're buying. So throughout the years, how they kind of purchase in America. And I'm pretty sure the data goes further back than this, but they're just comparing with, from 2012, sorry, to 2024. The dollar volume of existing home purchases by foreigners. So it's showing you how much the dollar amount is that they purchased. And then it breaks down even more into depth that in another. The origin. So yeah, so it goes into depth. I'm like, I don't want to be here all night. It's 32 pages. So, but I think it's very interesting to kind of see what's going on. Again, are the foreigners the one that's creating housing market stress per se? No, not really. You know, they're purchasing, and they're purchasing at a mass amount as far as dollar value. However, them purchasing is not going to be the cost of, well, I don't think it will be. I could be wrong, but it won't be. I don't feel like it would be the cost of properties going up more and more and more, because it's but when it's set up in the at the top of this, I think it's like what they said, 1%. I think so. 1% out of 100%. That, you know, yeah, it says 1.9% of existing homes in which they purchased. So they only purchased 1.9% of the 4.04 million existing homes. So it's not like they purchased a huge amount. So, but nonetheless, sorry to cut this short. You guys, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I just want to let people know that you can buy a property for $1,000 in Florida. I appreciate you being here tonight, Corey West, David, Matney, living in Omaha, Nebraska. If you guys are in Omaha, shifting to Omaha, please head over to David's YouTube channel. It is called Living in Omaha. I'm gonna pull it up so you guys can see it. And you can go over, subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to join his lives on Tuesday nights as well. He does great lives. I always make it, you know, my duty to head over there because he always has some great guests on there. So I always like to head over there, get some information, see what's going on in Omaha, Nebraska. So if you guys are in there, heading there, definitely go over to David's channel. This is David's YouTube channel, Living in Omaha, David Matney. Go there, give him a like, subscribe, head and check out his lives on Tuesdays. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time, but he's on Central time. So wherever you guys are at, just make that difference as far as the time from 8 p.m. my time. Definitely go over there, show David some love, subscribe to his channel. So I appreciate David being here. My dad as well. Thanks for coming. David, Jaron, for jumping in tonight a little bit. Adam, not sure if you left or not, but I appreciate you stopping by, checking it out. MH08, thank you as well. And I will see you guys next Sunday. If you have any topics, any suggestions of how you want to kind of see us roll next Sunday, let me know. If not, we'll be back on here with some more updated real estate news. I might possibly have a guest as well, but we'll see what happens. But until then, have a wonderful Sunday night. Great Labor Day. Tomorrow, take care, be safe, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right.